we were big into cold email in the beginning. You just need way too much time and the return on it wasn't great. And this is kind of like supercharged it. And it's just meant to start the conversation with the client at scale, right? So instead of being able to email 10 people a day, we can get it up to 100.
Welcome to the Business Model from Inc. I'm Rob Verger, Senior Tech Editor, and this is another edition of Founder Group Chat. Before we get to today's episode, as you may know, we're a new podcast and we really want to hear from you. What do you like about the show? What guests would you like to see on the channel? What topics in the world of business and entrepreneurship do you want to hear more about? Leave a comment on this video or on any of our other episodes of The Business Model. This show is first and foremost for you, the viewer, so feedback helps us a ton. Also, while you're at it, make sure you subscribe to the Inc. YouTube channel and set alerts for this series, or subscribe to The Business Model wherever you get your podcasts. All of this helps other people find the show and support our ability to bring you in-depth, independent reporting. And now, speaking of support, here's a quick word from our sponsor. We'll be right back with this week's Founder Group Chat.
This podcast is brought to you by IHG Business Edge, where small and mid-sized businesses unlock exclusive savings at more than 6,600 IHG hotels and resorts worldwide. Visit businessedge.ihg.com to learn more.
Over the next two episodes, I'm talking with two founders of analog companies that have learned to embrace AI. My guests come from two very analog fields. One, Natasha Miller, is an event producer. The other, Sam Moses, sells custom socks. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Natasha Miller. I own Entire Productions. We're an event production company focusing mostly with corporate clients and a lot of AI and venture capital clients. We're 25 years this year in business, based in the San Francisco Bay Area.
My name is Sam, and I am the founder of Socrates Custom Socks. People say Socrates and Socrates, but it's actually Socrates based on the philosopher. And the general idea for the company in the beginning was, what do your socks say about you? And what we do is we produce for B2B companies all over the world, companies who are giving them out at trade shows, companies who give them out to their employees as incentives or their clients. And we design it from scratch, and we then ship them from our factory in Italy, and we deliver them to the door.
We met a few months ago at Inc. 5000 in Phoenix and recorded our conversation there, which is why you'll see us on a different set than usual. Neither Natasha nor Sam fit the stereotype of an AI-boosting tech founder, which is exactly why we picked them for this founder group chat. But what struck me most about these two is that they are both major AI optimists and power users. They evangelize the technology to their employees, and we'll hear how they arrived here. Thank you both for being here. Our topic today is artificial intelligence. And when we look at something like event production or we look at something like custom socks, we generally don't think about AI. But in fact, AI is so important these days that it's integral to many companies, including your own. So I'd like to start with you, Natasha, and have you tell us a little bit about how you've been using artificial intelligence at your business to help you get things done.
Yes. So we were using AI in various forms before ChatGPT came out. And I believe many of us were using AI and not knowing about it. So that said, when it was readily available and so new to market, it was a big brand thing, I immediately brought to my team, I asked them each, no matter what their role is, to look at these various platforms and then report back how they might use it. And that was at the very kind of beginning a couple of years ago. And I got some, might be able to use it here, but I don't believe in it, lots of different things. Today, every single employee in the company must use AI, and we talk about it every Monday in an all-hands meeting.
I would love to hear kind of a high level of the different ways. Mm-hmm. I would also like to point out how interesting it is that you were using AI before ChatGPT, because that was the big kind of generative moment for artificial intelligence, but it sounds like you were really an early adopter. So
I was.
That's awesome.
With Descript, which is an incredible tool, still is. I still use it today. That's a lot for video editing and transcribing. And then also before that was Lately.ai, which was a couple of years before the big unveiling of ChatGPT, and they're still around. But I had this secret sauce in the back of my pocket, and I would keep it not so secret, but people weren't adapting to it yet. So I just used it for myself and moved on. But we use it to make sure that we are about 20 to 25% more, with time saving, which I'm going to equate to profit, higher profit. So for instance, right now we have a $5.5 million program we're working on, and I have told the team that is working on it, the expectation is that we do this even in an even more excellent way with a 20 to 25%, reduction of time and resources with the use of AI. So scheduling, getting organized, finding vendor partners, pretty much anything that we have to do.
That's amazing. I also love that you can put that specific number on it, 20 to 25%, which
That's
is
a goal.
Yeah.
It's a great goal.
That's actually good.
It's a pretty ambitious number.
I actually think it could be more.
Yeah,
so I didn't want to go crazy.
I thought it was conservative. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
I didn't want to scare my team, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear more about that. But first, Sam, I want to jump to you and have you tell us a little bit about how you use artificial intelligence at Socrates, because I think the realm of SOX and the realm of artificial intelligence sound like they could be pretty far apart.
It does sound like that, yeah.
But I'm guessing that there's actually a lot of really effective ways you can use it.
Sure. I actually was really interesting when Natasha said that she was using AI before it was like AI. And I think about that because, when we started the company, say, 8 years ago, the hot word was not AI, it was automation. So like, how do you automate? And the hot word that came before that was like scaling, right? So everybody's using these words, and automation, AI, and scaling are all kind of like tied in together, right? So how am I using automation to be more efficient? And then now today it's like AI to be more efficient. And then it ties into how do I use those two to scale, right? So when we first started, we were all about trying to automate things. So, lead comes in, how do we automate back? How to automate accounting, how to automate, employee tasks. And that's all we thought about. We thought it through Salesforce, and we thought about it through, every aspect of our business. How do we automate so that our team of, at that time, 7-8 people could be kind of like, I called it small and mighty. Like, how do we be small and mighty? Small and mighty means like we have 8 people, but we're working like a team of 20 or 30, okay, or more. So, we were obsessed with automation, and then this AI came about. And then it's like automation on steroids, because now you can really put fire, gas on the fire,
right? Fuel on the fire.
Automation.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we use automation-wise is, again, when leads come in, how do we go about getting back to those leads quickly? And through AI, that all is a process that is very possible once it's built.
Did you build an agent?
Yeah, so we built an agent. It's email to case.
Is it within Salesforce?
So within Salesforce, yeah. So the leads come in, and then the AI brings it to Salesforce, and then things are coming out of Salesforce. But the key to this is, in my opinion, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it, is what I care about is I do care about the AI, but I care really about the customer experience, because all these words are going to change over the next, maybe it's AI this year, it's all going to change. But what matters is the customer experience. So how do we use AI automation, scaling, to make the customer experience better, and that's really what we're focused on. And then we use AI to do that, and then if we can do that, then we have a shot at, competing in an efficient way,
And how does the customer actually then interact with the AI? Are they receiving a message that was potentially crafted with the help of artificial intelligence? How do you go from AI as a really kind of potent force multiplier to kind of the customer experience?
So that's the challenge. What we don't want to do is make this experience not personalized to them, or where it feels not personalized to them. So they think that a robot is talking to them. We don't want anything to do with that. Mm-hmm. So that's the real challenge. I think it's relatively easy to set it up. I mean, if you have the resources, you can set it up. What's challenging is to actually interact with your customer in a very personalized way, as if you didn't have the AI. Okay, so that's very challenging. So we need to make sure that the messages that are going out are actually very appropriate for the customer, So, and we're very picky about that. So I think the way to start is that you only do internal tasks with the AI. So things are coming in, but then there's people working on it out, okay? And so that only gets you so far efficiency-wise. But then as you start doing the outbound stuff, you have to be very careful, because you can ruin your brand, you can ruin your reputation. No customer wants to be dealt with in a very obvious AI way. That's not something that they don't like, I love to deal with Socrates and their robots. Like, that's not what they want. People care about, the hot words, B2B, B2C, D2C. I like to think of it as like H to H, like, human to human. Like, everybody wants to deal with humans, right? So how do you create that personalized experience using AI? That's probably the biggest challenge that anybody's facing, in your business and my business. I think that is where the core question is, and then you can get to the tools, and then you can get to all that stuff,
I think that is part of the core question because everybody, one thing I hear a lot about is this idea of a human being in the loop or on the loop to make sure that, however the AI is being used, that it's having a good impact. So Natasha, you said something at the very beginning that I thought was very interesting, that you have a Monday meeting every week where you talk about artificial intelligence. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Yes, that's our all hands meeting, and we're still small enough to be able to do 45 minutes to an hour every Monday morning. And we don't just focus on AI, but it is on the agenda every single week. And what I ask is that people contribute to that agenda with their most cool, use case or their new, however they're using it. I want them to share, and not only share, but like share their work, share their prompt, and kind of give a little presentation. And I, of course, always have a new one up there. I'm like the best student ever. But then, I walk them through that prompt, and sometimes what anyone is sharing, especially me, isn't specifically relevant to all of these different, but I want them to see how the AI could be used, and the wheels will start turning. So if, someone in accounting is listening to how I, worked on an RFP, it's not relevant to them, but they can start seeing around the corner and peeking up into the bottom of the hole and go, well, if she can do that, then it might work for this.
Yeah. Trickle down effect. That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And has anybody ever shared anything in one of those meetings that was eye-opening for you, that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that person is now using AI to do this. It's really taught me something.
Well, okay. In the first place, there are a couple of people that are like, AI, it's kind of cool. It's not for me. And one of those people was my daughter, who is my director of strategy and brilliant-minded. She understands about some of the negative impacts about AI and the servers and the sustainability, et cetera.
Yeah.
Right. However, we do talk about this in the company where we want to use AI responsibly and not necessarily don't do anything weird about it. We're not going to do anything weird anyway, but let's not play around with it. Let's not just do silly things. Let's be responsible for the environment and really use it when it counts. But she uses it all the time now.
So
she's a convert. Now, she wouldn't sit here and say, you know what, I really love AI, but it's integral to her work and her success. And she only kind of admits that out loud.
That's good.
I love that. And I think it's such a nice reminder that tech adoption, we tend to think of the cliche as being tech adoption kind of comes from the younger generations upwards, but it doesn't always work that way. That it just takes a kind of smart leader who understands the value of a tool, and it can kind of spread outwards from there. So I think that's really neat. I am curious if we could drill down a little bit into some of the more technical details of how you use AI. In terms of like what tools you're using from what companies, like what's the nitty gritty of that?
I'll just say, yes, we use ChatGPT all the time. I'm using Claude a lot more for, actually, I use both of them for the same prompt, and then I put them both together and do a distillation. I don't even know if that's a word.
Kind of a bake-off?
Yeah. Just to make sure that I'm covering both sides. Claude's better with words. And then I use IDEO, which is a really great tool for graphics. And when I started using it, it was the only tool I had found that could work in type into graphics and not distort it as much. So there's many more, but I'll let you go next.
Yeah, Sam, I'd love to hear more details.
So the big one that we're doing to basically bring in business, and there are so many of them now. They're called SDR, like sales development representatives. So there's this big one, Artisan, where basically you tell them you tell them the pain points, you tell them what your qualities are, and they'll go out. You give them the list of leads, and they'll go out and they'll craft a very personalized message to the recipient, right? And that's huge because the amount of time that took. We were big into cold email in the beginning, our sales guys and our salespeople, but it's just too much time. You just need way too much time, and the return on it wasn't great. And this is kind of like supercharged it. And it's just meant to start the conversation with the client at scale, right? So instead of being able to email 10 people a day, we can get it up to 100. But the challenge to that is you fall into this trap of like, let's just email everybody. You still have to be really, really super targeted on who you want to go after. Otherwise it's just a waste, right? You got to target on who you want to go after, and then you have to have great messaging to them. It's the same thing. It's just that the AI is able to do it much faster than you would be able to do.
Can you tell me more about that? Like how you actually use AI to generate leads in a very tactical way?
Yeah. So, we know that corporate event managers are a client. We know that marketing directors are a client, HR managers, actually office managers, because sometimes the top management says to their office manager, look, I can't deal with this. I just need 250 pairs of socks or whatever it is. I need a product that I can give out to the team. So we know that those are the people that are buying. Okay. And we know that before AI, because we have a lot of clients before AI that bought from us, right? So we generate lists of people, all these systems, Seamless.ai, all these lead generation systems that you get the list, you clean the list, and then you're emailing them over a long period of time. And it's interesting what I found. Like, it's a needle in the haystack to find the person, okay? But once you find the person, I did find that they turn out to be better clients for us, or as good clients or better, than even the ones that came to us. Why? Because they never heard of this idea before. Whereas the people that came to us already had in their mind what they wanted. They had a very specific need. These guys were like, oh, I never thought about that.
They're like, oh my God, you can put our logo on a pair of socks?
Yeah, and they're like...
mind blown.
And they're like, oh, you know what? 7 days, you can get it to me? Okay, like I have a budget, I'm interested. So yes, it's a needle in the haystack model, but now we're able to get the needle in the haystack through the AI. Whereas before, it was a needle in the haystack model, and you're like, I'm just getting too tired trying to find the needle, right? So AI has kind of like pushed us in the direction of being able to find more needles in the haystack faster, okay, and scale our time. But there's nothing wrong with the needle in the haystack. The client is the right client, right? So there's no problem with the end client. The problem was getting to that client. So AI has kind of like changed the game for us like that,
That's amazing. It's helping you find new clients. It's helping you find great new clients, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, the same question I asked Natasha about the specific tools. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about like some of the names of the products that you're using.
Right. So the big one is Artisan. And they're really a company that, and there's a few of them now. And they're really pushing their cold email campaign. So they do what they will do is they will go onto LinkedIn, go onto company websites. They'll find out if they were at an event, and then they'll craft a message. They'll be like, "Oh, hey, Steve, I see that you were at the Inc. 5000 event. Just so you know, our socks are a really good giveaway at the event because you were an exhibitor there." Okay. Now, for a salesperson to be able to do that would take a long time. Okay. So that together with ChatGPT, together with obviously, we use Gemini, which has been great for us. That, in regards to the cold email outreach, that's been something that's been very good. I have an accounting background, so I'm always into the numbers. I'm always into financial modeling. And, I went to business school in like the early 2000s. And this thing's to do these financial products, financial modeling would take days and days and days. And now it's just like, it's almost like too good. Like you're almost like, I'm like, I don't want to tell my kids about this because they're going to get lazy, So it's
also
so good.
It becomes so easy that it almost feels like,
it's not a skill anymore.
Possibly be real?
Yeah. I have to double check it.
Yes, I know you have to double check everything, but it's so easy and it's so fast. It's like unfathomable.
It's awesome. Yeah. So I'm able to create all my financial modeling very quickly, all my scenarios very quickly, whereas that would take me a long time. And I actually used to enjoy doing it over a long time. But now it's like, wait a minute.
It's ripped out the enjoyment now.
Now it's like, look, I have more time. Where can I spend more time? Okay. And, that's what it is. Like, I have 15 employees. I think you said you have 20, 25 employees. It's all about how do they do more with those employees, right? That's all it is. It's always been like that, probably since you started also, right? And so now it's like, okay, now we actually have ideas of how to use their time more efficiently, So I don't like to think that AI is taking away jobs. I actually think it's, creating more jobs for people as we get bigger.
We'll be right back after a short break.
Simplify business travel with IHG Business Edge. Enjoy guaranteed discounts, flexible booking, and automatic IHG One Rewards Silver Elite status after your first stay. With access to 20 IHG hotels and resort brands worldwide, discover how effortless and rewarding business travel can be. Visit businessedge.ihg.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Founder Group Chat. Implementing AI hasn't been all a joyride for these founders. After a short break, Natasha and Sam share what limitations they've seen with AI and how they found workarounds. There's a famous Steve Jobs quote about a bicycle being like a kind of, or that a computer is like a bicycle for the mind. It helps you do more with what you have. And I think artificial intelligence is pretty similar in that it can take the amount of, whatever your resources are and just kind of amplify it a little bit.
A lot.
Or a lot.
Not a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
So I think we're all kind of impressed with how powerful artificial intelligence is. And it's also important to remember how flawed it can be in terms of sometimes it just gets things wrong. You can ask it to explain a fact or something, and sometimes it's just totally wrong, or ask it to count how many J's are in a certain word, and it just doesn't know how to do something very simple like that. So I'm wondering if you have ever tried to use AI in a certain way and just found like this is not the way we want to use AI. This is not a good solution.
One thing that I did that I felt like I was like fighting with AI, and I did fight it. I fought it to the end, and then I just kind of let it go. So I was looking for a venue search in San Francisco, and AI relies a lot on websites and non-gated information. And what I was asking was not eloquent or elegant enough for AI to like have a slam dunk. And, it spit out 30 venues. I'm like, but what about this? And what about this? And, I'm prompting it. I'm like, okay, I want these kind of venues, not just these easy to find venues. And it's like, oh, sorry, you're right. We're right. We suck. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God. So there was so much energy and prompting for this list that I probably could come up with myself if I just spent the same amount of time fighting with AI.
Right.
But I still, I took it to I probably did 5 or 6 rounds. And then I was like, I give up. I used the data that I got though. And then it was able to be, put together on a spreadsheet faster and easier and better than I would have been able to do by hand.
Right. I've had that experience before too, where it's like, should I have just maybe done a traditional Google search or just use my brain instead of asking ChatGPT to do it for me?
There was this moment, I don't know, maybe a year ago, maybe it was before that, where every employee was like, I gotta just be on AI. And they would send me these like long AI reports about strategies for the company, and what I told them was, and I read some of them, it's like garbage in, garbage out. Like, you didn't really think about what you want. You're asking AI to solve your problems. Like you need to have some vision of what you actually want to do and actually have some strategy behind it. Like, use your brain, like you said, and then use the AI to help you. Don't ask, it's like me typing in, how do I make $1 million a year? Like, come on, like AI is not going to answer that. And if they do, like, then everybody else has access to it, right? You're going to have to think a little bit creatively, get that information into the AI, then let the AI do its thing, and then bring back the report, maybe edit it a little bit. Maybe, you want me to read these great reports that you wrote. What did you write? So we went through that moment where we're like, okay, guys, slow down. Let's think about what we actually want to do, and then get the AI to do it, to give us maybe an overview or strategy of how to do it, versus, hey, AI, how do I grow my sock company? Like that's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a very specific sock question for you, which is AI is great at images. It's great at producing images. You can have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
My wife and I have a cat that we love a lot, and I'm always having ChatGPT create funny cat images of my cat
funny.
working at my desk like it's a businessman.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, have you ever asked any kind of the image generation type programs to create a sock for you?
Every client that comes to us, we design 6 to 7 designs. So the minute that AI came out, every designer is kind of like, how do we use AI to design, right?
Right.
Or maybe the sales guys.
Did it get weird?
Yeah, it got awkward, yeah. So we are woven socks, so there's a lot of limitations of what you can do and what you cannot do. And it just wasn't there. It's just not there. But where we used the AI was it could take because we do flat designs, right? And we were able in-house to design 3D renderings, but the 3D renderings were taking time. And the clients sometimes, like bigger clients, they want that 3D rendering. So we were able to take the flat design and then have AI make a rendering. See, that's exactly where AI is so powerful, because now I can make, multiple 3D renderings for every client, versus before I'm like,
you mean like an actual foot in the sock, so you can see how
it's like an avatar of the
so
sock,
you can see what it looks
view.
like from various.
Yeah, which we could do in-house before, but 45 minutes, right? Now it's seconds, right? So, but we still design the 2D because the way that the sock is designed on a woven level has to be very specific. And maybe AI will solve that soon. I'm sure it will. Somebody once told me, like, it's all going to happen. The question is when it's going to happen. Like, soon you're going to be calling customer support. It's all going to be AI on the phone, right? They're getting closer to that.
And I am wondering, if there's anything in either of your businesses that you kind of wish you could automate now with AI? You know, we've talked about the automate question as you were bringing up before. Anything that you wish you could use AI to kind of like help you out with that maybe doesn't seem like it's been a good fit yet, or you just haven't been able to kind of crack that code yet?
I mean, for me, we're shipping a physical product. You're running a physical event, so there's still that element that you're going to run the event. Like you know, AI cannot run your event. There's not robots running around events, so there's not robots yet delivering goods.
There are robots.
Are they on the company? Okay.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, I still got to ship the product. There's still some human element to everything that we do. You know, there's still the designer designing it. You know that's still going on. So there's so many other elements to running a business that AI is helping us so much that those other parts of the business are improving. So shipping is much better for us, and communication amongst our team is much better for us because we're taking away a lot of this work, heavy manual labor that we were doing, let's say, the non-automated stuff, that it's just because that got taken away, we're able to focus on all that other stuff. So we got better. So the answer that I would have to that is, do I wish that AI could take away that stuff? Maybe, but just because it can't, doesn't mean it hasn't helped us, because it's helped us in all the other areas, which lets us a focus on that.
Right, it's taken certain things off your plate, so you're able to focus on like, how do we get these socks from Italy to the customer in a good amount of time?
Yeah, no more 3 days going through expense report. You know, AI spits that out in seconds. Now I got 3 days to actually do other things, right? So yeah, so that's great.
And how about you, Natasha? Anything that you wish you could use AI to help you with?
Nothing really comes to mind. I feel like it's filling so many voids, and I'm a glass half overflowing kind of person.
Me too.
So, and I know for sure that whatever is like maybe, you know, in the back of my mind will be solved very soon. So there's not huge frustrations. It's just the lack of, the correct information.
That's all for today. I'll be back with Natasha and Sam next Friday. But the business model will return on Monday for Circling Back. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on Inc.'s YouTube channel at youtube.com/Inc. Magazine.